For the love of cheese. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to Wallace and Gromit, A Vengeance Most Fowl. So, before we get into this, I do want to state that this was actually chosen in a very interesting way. So, at the start of the week, you're seeing this on Saturday, I'm recording this on Wednesday, but back on Sunday, I'd asked someone to help me choose from a couple genres for this week's movies. And one of the genres chosen was animation. Now, when I gave those genres to choose, I had actually a couple options from each one that I was going to choose between. Two options for each genre. And then a bunch of stuff happened this week. You might have noticed like the posts I made about it, either here on YouTube or on Discord. And it got me a bit stressed out. And although things look like they're going to be fine from here on out, although you're seeing this on Saturday either way, so I guess things are fine at this point. I was still stressed out to the point where I needed to get to a movie, the first movie of this week, something that would help me feel a little bit more relaxed. And so I basically took the two options I had for animation and threw them out the window. I'm like, I'm going to get to this instead. Because Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Fowl, if you don't know, Wallace and Gromit is a property by Aardman. It is it is claymation, which we don't do a lot of on this channel. So it's really cool to see more of it. But it's an older property. Wallace and Gromit's been around for quite a while. It's had, like, I think a couple different shows, and then it had the Curse of the Were-Rabbit movie. And I first saw Wallace and Gromit in school, which is interesting because Wallace and Gromit is exceptionally British. Like, if you had to pick, like, a show or whatnot that you would refer to as, like, the most British thing you've ever seen, for me, this would be it. It's like when I think of like the stereotypical British kind of show, this is what I think of. And so I'm very curious to see this because I haven't watched any of this in a long time. I think the last time I watched anything related to Wallace and Gromit outside of like a couple clips randomly here and there was with the Curse of the Were-Rabbit movie, which I saw not that long after it came out. So, take that as you will. But yeah, I saw the Curse of the Were-Rabbit movie, and I really haven't seen much of anything since, and that's because I don't think there has been much of anything since. So this movie, which just came out like a year or two ago, is kind of the return of Wallace and Gromit in a way. And I'm very curious to see what they do with it. I think there was a chicken in the series previously, so we might be focusing on that with this Vengeance Most Fowl, like, you know, birds. That's my guess, at least. But yeah, I'm very, very excited to see this, to kind of delve back into this. And hopefully this is just a good time to vibe to and, you know, relax and enjoy something to kind of reset me after how stressful the early part of this week has been. So, we're just going to get into this and hope for the best. Let's see what we've got in store. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, outside of the Shaun the Sheep spin-offs, this is the first Wallace and Gromit project starring, Wallace Gromit since 2010. And it is a direct follow-up to the 2003, not 2003, 1993 short film, The Wrong Trousers, which was the last place that Feathers McGraw turned up. So, this is not only a follow-up to a movie that is almost exactly as old as I am. Or a short film, but But it is the first Wallace and Gromit property in 14 years, because this came out last year in 2014. And honestly, it feels like Wallace and Gromit. It feels like they just really have not lost their touch. The certain form of humor that this series is known for, the claymation is fantastic. I've made no secret on this channel that I am a huge proponent of stop motion, and especially claymation. I think it's one of the coolest art forms out there, and I think it was fantastically done here. A lot of inventive usages of it through all of Wallace's inventions, and the Norbots especially had a lot of great moments with that. But I also liked the characters, the other characters. I don't remember if Mukherjee has been in this before, but she was honestly kind of charming. She's what a cop I feel should be. While the old chief is I think he was in the 1993 one and possibly others, but he's what a cop shouldn't be. You have kind of two different generations who view things differently, and the problem is, at least here in America, most cops are more like the chief. And very few of them are like Mukherjee, and that's the problem. That's the issue. If more cops were like Mukherjee, it'd probably be a lot better than it currently is. Though the U.S. police force is still founded under racism and whatnot, that's just not going to go away. Institutionalized racism is part of what it's built upon, so I'm not going to get into that entire thing here, though, because this is about British police. Outside of Feathers McGraw and the entire, chase to get the diamond back, a lot of this film had to do with kind of the argument about analog versus technology, about, when is it going too far, and is it taking over your life to a degree that where you can't really figure out how to do anything anymore without it? Are you ignoring the people, or in this case the animals in your lives, because of it? Those are things that you have to question, because I obviously love technology. I mean, I use it every day for YouTube, whether it be through my laptop, my webcam, my microphone, which you can kind of see down here. Whether I'm playing my PlayStation 5, whether I'm using my phone, I use technology every day. And there's some older generations who will be like, oh, but you should go outside and do stuff more. It's technology is not the problem. It's obsession with technology. Using technology, even every day, is not an issue. It's just when it takes over your life. And I do stuff outside of the house. I spend time with friends and stuff when I can. It's just most of the time, I can't do that because they're working, or I don't have transportation or stuff. But when I'm able to, I absolutely do. And I've gone to conventions without even bringing my computer or anything with me. I only use my phone to check time and stuff most of the time because I'm busy with the convention. And the issue even in this wasn't that Wallace was getting so invention happy. It was that he was neglecting other things because of it, and kind of turning a blind eye to things that were happening right in front of him. The thing that honestly irritated the shit out of me the most was the garden. And not just because Gromit was fucking adorable in his garden wear. A garden can often be a way for a person to reflect, relax, and detox from the world around them, basically. It can be a very safe place for people, especially people who are super into gardening. So to have that just taken away in such a almost violent way, and for Wallace to not even realize the issue, to not even understand why it upset Gromit, to not even notice Gromit was upset in the first place. It's like, that's the problem here. Wallace had become like so invested in his machines that he wasn't giving Gromit attention or understanding. He basically was not even really paying attention to him at all. It's like the head pats are one thing, which that got resolved specifically in the end. But it's like he can't make tea, he can't get up on his own or take a bath on his own. Like he can't even like put jam on his own toast. It's like there's a point where it gets to be a little ridiculous. And it's like I understand how this kind of stuff, technology and inventions and stuff, can make our lives easier. And there's nothing wrong with wanting your life to be a little easier. It's actually exceptionally reasonable. But you have to be able to do it in a way that it doesn't hurt your life or the lives of people directly connected to you. Because then it's just, what's the point? You're just causing suffering, even if it's just minor suffering. And it's like, it's not actually making your life better. And so this tackles that. And it's made very clear by the end again. The inventions aren't the problem, because the Norbots, they remain. Other inventions and stuff end up helping them in the first place. So it's like the inventions aren't the issue. It's, again, Wallace not paying attention to Gromit and not like giving any focus and attention to anything else. You can also like make a connection with the idea that technology like this can be used for good and bad. Even if the intent of the inventor is good, there's a lot of technology out there that can be used in negative ways. The first thing that comes to mind, which isn't really the focus of this by any means, though you could maybe make some connections, is AI. AI is something that is exceptionally useful and has been used in exceptionally like strong, important ways for a long, long time. But more recently, AI has been used to steal the jobs of so many artists by creating this fake, soulless AI art that most of the time looks like shit in the first place. And this is when something like that is used for evil. Because AI in and of itself is not bad. In fact, AI is really good and can be used for amazing things. Stuff like the medical field is exceptionally an important place to use AI. But AI is being used now to, again, steal jobs from other people. Instead of trying to like commission an artist for a piece of fan art or something, people will just go to ChatGPT, or well, not ChatGPT, but you know what I mean. We'll just go to one of these these AI art sites, input some stuff, and pump out a soulless picture that has no actual artistic creativity behind it. Not to mention, a lot of these, pretty much all of these AI generators also train themselves on stolen artwork. They trained themselves on artwork that was, the artist did not give permission for them to be trained on. And that's fucked up for a lot of reasons. There's just again, this movie doesn't entirely touch on that, though you could say there is an AI element to these robots, to some degree. But it's just the general idea of like technology can be used in different ways. Even if the intent is good, even if like the intent is positive, certain technologies can still be used to make or do bad things. That's just undeniable. And that feels like a notable lesson of this. But overall, just like I kind of like hoped and assumed it would be, even with the intensity at certain scenes, like the boat blowing up as it fell and everything, which that explosion effect was actually pretty damn good. Outside of stuff like that, it's like this movie was still very vibey. It was still very relentlessly calming, for lack of a better way to put it. Even though there is some intense moments, intense music, it doesn't feel as intense as like a, I don't know, Bourne film, since we reacted to those recently. But just as an example, it doesn't feel as intense as something like that. And I don't know if it's just because of it being, claymation, or if it's just because it's, fairly low stakes. It's just, it has this kind of vibe of just, relaxing fun more than anything. And I think that's definitely something that I needed, considering the stress I was going through at the beginning of this week. It's not the best movie. None of these like Wallace and Gromit movies are ever going to be like top tier or anything. But they're fun for what they are. They're enjoyable. They're clever. They're cringy, but they're a good time. And they are so fucking British. Like, they are the most stereotypically British piece of media I think I have ever seen. The way they talk, the designs, like everything they talk about, it's just like, how do you get more British than this? And I want to make very clear, I don't mean that as an insult. I do mean that positively. I just think it's fun. I just think it's like really enjoyable. So yeah, I'm I'm a casual enjoyer of this series, I think is a good way to put it. I'm not like a super fan of Wallace and Gromit, but I've always casually enjoyed it. And it is pretty wild that this is a follow-up to a 32-year-old short film that came out a year after I was born. That is pretty freaking wild. But yeah. So let me know down in the comments below, what did you think of Wallace and Gromit Vengeance Most Fowl? What did you think of the humor, the kinds of themes and messages? What did you think? Have you seen Wallace and Gromit before? Is this like a series that you are, familiar with, or is it something new to you? Let me know down below. And as always, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.